morning. Today we're doing a foggy forest, and it's kind of like an ode to Pennywise, because I saw they're very original when I was a kid and terrified the crap out of me, and then I recently, last year or the year before when it came out, the next It with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, absolutely loved it, terrified the shit out of me. And now just the other day I went and saw It 2. Now just a warning, it goes for 3 hours. But I still love Pennywise, so I'm going to do a forest, and it's going to have red balloons. Pardon me. And it's going to have red balloons in it and a shadow of Pennywise standing there holding a balloon. So let's just stuck my finger in paint. It's awesome. So let's get started. Not many colours used in this one, just mainly black, white, red for the balloons, and maybe blue. I might do a blue tint, and Gloss Glazing Liquid. So this is what we're going to use to create the foggy effect. Anyway, actually, first thing I'm going to do is draw the line where I want the ground. So about here. That's just where the ground is going to be, and then we're going to have the trees back there. Now give your brush a clean if you're using the same brush, because we're using white. And well, white and black make grey. Doesn't matter if you get a little bit of black in there, because it just makes it more visible. And it can be as rough and ragged as you want, because we'll be going over it with glazing liquid. It's going to push all the trees back. And my paint's been sitting here for a little bit because I went and mowed. If you're having trouble, just get a little bit of water on your brush. Now I can start to add a little bit of black. Yes, I said a little bit. Not that much. Further out you go, the darker it's going to get. But you don't want to go all the way black, because then you'll hide your trees. So you need to have your base lighter than what your trees are going to be. Doesn't matter if you go over that line, you can fix it up. I'm not doing any particular stroke here, I'm just bleh. The official word for it is bleh. And it is Sunday and my kids are playing the game Xbox. And as usual they're super quiet. Probably will make these edges a little darker, but I just want to get this bit up here done. Okay, now I'll just clean my brush because I want to just, like I said, I don't want it too black, but I want it darker. So I'm just mixing some white on here. With the black. I added black. Now I'm going to add some white. I'm just getting a big blob on there and just mixing it in. See how it's not staying white, which is fine. I want this bit here to be white, but the rest I'm just blending in my own crazy way. Some more white. See, I'm not being pedantic or gentle or anything like that. I'm just whacking it on. And it's not neat. And somehow I got crap all over me. Whatever. A little bit of black again. See how it just all mixes together, so it's not really one colour. Just got some more white there. Just want to This bit here I'm going to do, just need a little bit more white. I'm going to do a dark grey. This bit here, since it's closest to us, I'm going to do black. And as we work our way out there, it's going to get a little bit lighter. Now I'm just blending it. Just adding a little bit more black here. Add a little bit more white. And a little bit more white here. Okay, using our dagger strapper, 3/8 of an inch. Actually, I might wait till this is dry. Yes. What I'm going to do is draw a line across here. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry and then we're going to do the trees, the first layer of trees. This is all dry, hopefully, because I'm touching it. I have high flow black and my dagger strapper. Let's straighten that. And I'm just going to do some trees that are at the back. Now, way at the back, they're going to be just basically a line. You have to forgive me, it's not going to be too straight because I'm on a really bad angle here. But, not too bad. It doesn't matter if they're crooked because trees are famously crooked. Now, try not to do them in the same pattern, like same distance apart, same amount. I have to go the other way over here. Now, despite trying not to do a pattern, I did a pattern. Now I'm just going to do a couple of branches. You don't need to do too many. Oops. Try and keep your brush together. Down here I'm going to do some grasses or bush or whatever. Just going back over the trees, adding some more branches there because it's a forest, so there's going to be lots of little scraggly branches. So just go ahead and do whatever it is that you want your trees to look like at the back. The more branches, the more foresty it is. The less branches, the less foresty it is. Anyway, just do whatever makes you happy. I wanted some more, so I added some more. Now using the black and the round brush here, I'm about to show you, look at that. Just do some leaves, just a few little bushy, branchy leaves. In my forest it's winter, so there's autumn, fall, whatever, we call it autumn. So there's not going to be a great deal of leaves, but you know, it's your forest. If you want a whole heap of leaves, then you put a whole heap of leaves on there. Just keep in mind that with the layers that go in front, if you have a lot of leaves in the back one, you're going to have a lot in the next few layers, and it's going to be a really thick bushy forest, which there's nothing wrong with a bushy forest. Sure, we've all... Anyway, I'm not going there. I just did a few little ones on here, just so that when I did the next few layers, they'd all add up and it'd be kind of like a minimal forest. And just a side note, we are using acrylics and we are at the ugly stage, which acrylics are notorious for right until the very end when they're not ugly. So once we've added a few layers and the glazing liquid, and then we add Pennywise and the balloons, it does really look good. It really does, I promise. Now, red. I'm just using brilliant red. Use any red you want. Any red at all. I'm going to use my round brush again. So make sure you get all the black off it. Sure I haven't. Now the balloons back here are going to be smaller. When that's dry, do another coat of red. Using my detailer 510 and the red, I'm going to start making the ribbons or strings, sorry, for the balloons. Now, because they're so far back in the distance, they're going to be tiny and short and skinny. And if you want to, at the bottom of the balloon, make a little triangle to show the little bit that you tie up. You don't have to do it back here, it's not really important. But yeah, just go ahead and do all the strings on all the balloons, and then we'll get on with the next step. And we're going to let that dry. Won't take very long because I don't have much on there. And then we're going to do the glaze, which is going to push this back, like back into the future. I'm so funny. Now we're going to push it back so the perspective is further back, and so the next trees we do are going to be a little bit bigger and a little bit less of them, and then we'll cover them again, and that's when we'll do probably Pennywise's silhouette. But this is what we're going to use to make everything go back and to make it seem foggy. So I'm going to let that dry and then we'll come back. I have a big splodge here of golden gloss glazing liquid, and this is Zinc White. Now, you don't want a great deal of the white in the glazing liquid, but you want some. And if you get too much white, just grab a paintbrush full of glazing liquid and it thins down the white. So you're just going to do this. See too much white there, so I just grab glazing liquid. And you want to make sure the background is dry, otherwise it will smudge everywhere. See, I had too much there, so I just got some glazing liquid, and now you can see those grasses again. Can you see how it's pushed it back? And when we do the next layer, you'll definitely see how this works. Okay, it is dry, not sticky. Oh, there's a little bit, but using the dagger striper, want to get dagger striper brush again, but this time I'm going to, when I'm doing it, I'm going to push a little bit harder so that the lines are a little bit thicker. I'm going to do less trees. So I'm still using the high flow black. Doesn't matter if they go over other trees or the balloons. So much for not trying to make a pattern. I did that perfectly, didn't I? Surely did. And just like you did in the first layer, make some more branches using your dagger striper brush and the high flow black. Make the branches a little bit thicker than you did the layer behind. And once you've done the branches and you're happy, try to not to put them in the bottom half of the middle bit there, because that's where Pennywise is going to go. And when we are done that, we will then do the leaves again in the exact same way, and the grasses and the balloons. And then we'll do our branch dabbing. This is just the same as the first layer, using your round brush and the high flow black paint. Using the high flow black paint, just dab away. Make them a little bit bigger than the ones before, and this whole painting is going to be doing the exact same thing over and over again. So I'm going to have the rest of this probably in fast forward with talking if I need to explain something that I'm doing. Now some more grass, and then we're going to come closer. And now some more balloons. So these ones are going to be a little bit bigger. And if you really want to get all it fangirl, get some of that high flow black. My red is still wet, so hopefully this will work. I heart dairy. Now we're going to let that dry, and then we'll do another coat of the Zinc White and the glazing liquid. After that layer of gloss glazing liquid has dried, get your high flow black paint and a little bit bigger brush and make some more trees. Now make these ones, as you can see, probably double the size of the previous ones you just did. And you're just going to do the exact same thing. You're going to make your trees, try to avoid making a pattern, which I really suck at. Do some branches, which are obviously a little bit thicker than the ones in the previous one. Do your leaves with your round brush and the black paint. And do some grasses down the bottom, and then the red balloons. It's all pretty repetitive and pretty much the same, only you're getting bigger the closer you get to yourself. Then get your red again and make some more balloons and make them a little bit bigger than the previous ones, and don't forget the ribbons. Okay, I've cut out a silhouette of Pennywise. Nearly said crusty. And I'm just going to use black. Now you're going to try and not get it under the paper. And I'm not using high flow, because it might just dribble under. Just continue painting inside the template that you have there. Make sure, keep holding the paper down wherever you go so that you don't end up going outside the edges or under the paper. When we're done, we can fix up anything we don't like, so it's not a big issue. I fix some things up when I'm done here. Just try and do your best to keep that paper down when you're painting over it. And you won't know if it worked till you take it off. Now I've pulled it all off. And if there's anything you don't like, just fix it up. Once you pull the paper off, just fix up anything you don't like. I'm just fixing up his head and the sleeves of his blouse, I guess you can call it. I wanted to make them a little bit more fluffier. Just look at the silhouette and see what it is that you don't like about yours and you like about the template that you had, and just fix it up. And then we add his balloon that he's holding, and I decided to make the balloon that he's holding red instead of black like a silhouette. You can make yours black if you want. And if your balloons need it, just do another coat of red paint over it and make sure everything is dry before we do the next step, which is another layer of the glazing liquid. Okay, now we're on to probably the second last coat. I'm going to use primary blue and the Gloss Glazing Liquid, same way that I use the Zinc White. Oops, I don't need that much. I just wanted a little bit of a blue tinge. There's the primary blue, and there's that. See how it's really translucent? And then just do it the same way we did the white. Only now it's going to add a bit of a blue tinge to it, which is kind of spooky. Well, I think anyway. Now let that dry. So this is going to be our last layer of black trees, because the very last layer of tree, like probably going to be just one big tree, it's going to be brown. So this is our last layer that's going to be fogged over, if you know what I mean. So do this final layer of black trees, make them bigger than the other one and a few less trees. And do the branches and the leaves and the grass and also the balloons, which I'll do in a minute because I don't think I'm doing this part. Yeah, just get all that done. Doesn't matter if you go over the top of other balloons, it just makes it look more realistic, because balloons are going to go behind trees and hide behind them. So do exactly the same as before, and then we are almost done. Just add a few big red balloons on this layer. I only added about 3 or 4, I think probably 3, and make them bigger than all the others, obviously. We'll just quickly do some leaves. Don't have to be everywhere because there's a lot of branches here and I can't quite see which branch is a which. Okay, this is our last, our last glazing coat, so I'm just gonna, you know what to do, use the blue and the glazing liquid and go over. Just always make sure when you do this coat that the coat behind it is dry, because like I said, it will smudge it and ruin all your hard work. That last layer we put on is all dry. Now I just wanted this bit here to be a little bit brighter, so I've got some Zinc White and some glazing medium. I'm just going to mix them 50-50. I just want it a little brighter behind Pennywise. Now, as I say, hindsight is 20/20. If I had remembered, because I did, this is the next morning that I'm doing this part, and I was intending on painting it white before I painted Pennywise, because it had gone a little darker than I wanted it. So if you're painting this, just paint it white before you paint Pennywise again. Or you can do it this way, there's no problem doing it this way, it just looks... I would have just preferred to have done it before I painted Pennywise, I just forgot. Alrighty, burnt umber. Now I'm just going to do one tree that's close, so I'm going to do it. I might do this side, makes it easier for me. So I've got burnt umber and my dagger striper brush. Just trying to figure out where to put it. Oops. And then just fill that tree in with burnt umber. Now if you don't want to do this tree that's close up, then don't do it. It looks fine. It looked fine the way it was. I just wanted to add just a little bit of something else. Now adding just a little bit of white to that burnt umber to make that a light brown, not too light, because we are in a dark forest. Then just blend that bit in. Just got some burnt umber so that I can blend this bit in. Now just add a couple of branches on this brown tree using the burnt umber, make them fairly thick at the base and then tapering out to a smaller at the end. And then we'll do a couple of highlights and then we're almost done. Now a little bit of white again to do the highlight. And then burnt umber to just blend it in. This one here might have teeniest, tiniest bit. Not much. So I'm going to make that bottom bit darker. She said that she made it lighter. Okay, I got some black here. Now here I add just a little bit of black to the tree to make kind of a knot or a little, you know, one of those little holes they have in them. And then you put white or white umber, white and burnt umber around the edges to make it seem like a hole. And in the next step, I'll do it in a minute, with the round brush, I decided to add some texture to the tree. So I got the burnt umber, here I am doing it here. I got the burnt umber and I just decided to dab along the tree. And I preferred the way that looked as opposed to the smooth trees. So I just go ahead and do the whole tree, just dabbing it, going over what we just did in the same colors. So in the highlight area, you're going to add the white and the burnt umber. And in the dark areas, just the burnt umber. And just do that over the whole tree and the branches, and it really does make it look a lot more textural and a lot more realistic. Okay, dagger striper, Pthalo Green. Just going to do a couple of green grasses. See, Pthalo Green is fairly dark, so it's like subtle grasses because this is a very, very dark painting. So you're not going to have, you know, beautiful green, glaringly fresh cut grass just sitting there. Make sure my Pthalo Green is a little clumpy, so I have to wet. Now you want it to go over the tree, but just make sure the tree is dry or dry enough. Mine isn't. You don't need a whole lot. These are just little ones that you might see in colour. And yes, I have green all over my hand. I don't know how that happened. I just go near paint and I think explodes on me. And I think I might put one more balloon and then that's it. So I might do a little bit more zinc white on there just while I'm waiting for that tree to dry. Zinc white and glazing liquid. Okay, now a red balloon, and then I'm done. Done, double done. I want to put it in front of this tree. The tree's not dry. Yep, blob of water just ran down. Just going to give that a minute to dry and then I'll do another coat and do the ribbon thingy and done. I just went over that red balloon again and made the string just like we did with all the others, and there it is, a scary spooky forest with Pennywise. Hope you enjoy.